What's up, everybody? It's your girl _Wisdom, and I'm back with part 2. And this one is basically, I left the last video mentioning a claim, expressing how my ex-best friend of 10 years, sorry, I got too fake, for 10 years, had relations with my kid's father. How do I know this? Oh, don't say such a thing like that. Well, facts is facts. Now, there was a time when we lived in Rockford, all of us. I lived in Rockford, Rocky lived in Rockford. And she moved with me. Her and my BD was staying with somebody. They ended up leaving that place and popping up on me and my BD in my house. So they lived with us for some time. And during that time, me and my brother was going to GED, taking up GED classes. So we would leave in the morning, but it would be them two left at home. But when we would come back, my BD would act all irritated and annoyed and bothered or whatever. And he would just express to me how Rocky said she'd go to the store and never came back. So he had the baby for the XYZ and our babies. So he probably was overwhelmed or whatever or whatnot. Really not the case. But yeah, so she did stay with me at one point. That was a mistake, ladies. Never let your female friend live with you and your man. Like, it's probably women out there that have healthy relationships and can say, oh, my friend ain't never did that with my man, or this and that and this and that. That's exactly something like this case or this situation that I'm mentioning right now. So moving forward, at the time I didn't know that, but I did know that his attitude changed when it came to her. Whenever I would leave to go with her somewhere, or we go kick it, just the girls or whatever, he changed. He went from, because we all rap first off, so he went from being this my dog to I don't like that bitch, to that. Lord forgive me for cursing. And I didn't understand why. So now I'm in the middle feeling awkward, because this my man, this my girl. Like, what's going on? Why I gotta be divided, But moving along. Now, yes, she stayed with me. Yes, he changed his attitude and behavior and down the road. But my kids never knew Rocky. They never remembered. They knew Rocky, but they probably from age 1 to 3 was when she was in their life. But they didn't have no recollection of her, no memory of her, no good times with her, and we used to have a blast. But they was young, and understand. They don't my teeth is really bothering me. They don't remember. So with that being said, I'm away from my kid's father right now. This information was given to me when I was 2021, when I moved to Texas. So in the beginning of my departation, after I departed from my kid's father, I would say, tried a co-parenting. Like, he has some of the kids, I had some of the kids or whatnot. But my son walked in the room on me while I was crying over her passing. I had me a little bottle and of wine, of course, and I was just in my feelings, but I was still mothering. So they was sad on me, and come in the room. My son was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, I'm just sitting here thinking about Rocky. She died today. And he was like, Rocky, who is that? Well, that's when I realized he didn't even remember. He didn't remember Rocky. I was like, Rocky, you remember Rocky? So I showed him pictures. And I showed him pictures, and he was like, oh, that's the girl that Daddy was talking about. I was like, what you talking about? So innocent. He was like, oh, Daddy used to tell me about that girl. He was like, he missed her, and he loved her, and that was his best friend, and how when she used to leave, he used to touch on her, and they used to do stuff. And I was like, all right, say less. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And then he just gave me, condolences. He just said condolences or whatever, and walked out the room. So I'm sitting there like, wow. See, it's times me and my kid's father, we used to argue, and he used to try to throw stones or say things to hurt me during arguments. And he used to always say, I'll say something that'll crush you right now. I'll say something that'll mess up your whole world. And I'm like, try it. I used to want him to say it so bad. But the thing about me was, I didn't have no stones during arguments to throw at him. I wasn't even a mouther. I was a thrower, but I had to stop throwing hands actually, because never anyway. But he used to always say that and never would reveal it. But I had already knew. I was informed of them. And I just asked, this was around the time I asked Jesus. I said, Jesus, can you please remove me from my enemies? Oh no, I said, can you remove my enemies from away from me? That's what I said. I said, Jesus, can you remove my enemies, or those who are not for me, away from me? And Jesus said, no, I'm going to remove you away from them. And years down the line, they're going to be in the same place, while you is elsewhere, doing other things. And that's exactly what Christ did. Christ, most people say, remove my enemies from me. Remove my enemies from me. But me, Christ said, no, I'm not going to move them. They're going to stay right where they at. I'm going to move you. And you just watch. So, that's what happened. I was removed from those who was either haters or out for me. Because the entities know when a soul of the light is present. And like I say, I was doing things in my previous videos. I was doing things that even I wasn't familiar with, but I knew it was a different me. And so that other people noticed, you know. So moving forward, that is how I came into actual knowledge of my kid's father. And then to hear these things come out our child mouth, it's like, why is you sitting up here talking about your actions with my ex-best friend and his uncle and our son uncle, baby mama? I could just tell my baby daddy wasn't even thinking that far, how disrespectful he was. But moving forward, that's what happened. And it is what it is. But now it just brings back so many memories and so many reactions and things of that nature, how it just brought back, everything just made sense. But because I already was informed of their doing, not in detail, but I already knew that something was going on. I wasn't hurt too much. I was just more on the, that nigga dirty. You ain't no good. Sit up here and act like she was a problem, and all along, y'all Gucci, you know? But the lesson out of this is, what I learned is not to let your female friends live with you and your man. If I ever have a female friend who's going through a hard time and she need a place to stay, I will most definitely hook her up with a hotel room for XYZ days or weeks, and until she figure it out or whatever. But my doors is not open to females. Now it's females that say, oh, you insecure, oh, this and that. I just haven't been in a healthy relationship to where I could trust women, you know? And this is known, like, women, this is something that women do. It's cold, but they do it. And it's a lot of variations that go into these type things too. So you just don't open up your door, your private. I'm private, so it's like I could have a whole house and you come visit me, but certain rooms you're not gonna see. It's none of your business. You shouldn't even have a vision of anything to think about when you see certain things that belong to me. You know, so that's just me. Talk about it if you want to in the comments. I don't care. But that wraps it up for this experience. And like I said, when I found Christ and I stopped doing things that were similar to other people, that's when I became on the outside looking in. Peace.